I'm relaxing. I'm taking a little bit of a stroll. We had a fun little snowstorm last night. This is like my favorite kind of thing. It's just like it's Saturday night and I'm super comfy at home and the storm is just coming in and I don't need a goddamn thing. I'm just like, and then it's only a couple of hours. There wasn't any crazy wind. I bet the roads aren't even that bad. And it's not terribly cold. So this is pretty cool in that respect, right? So these are kind of like bright days of winter, right? Because like you're in February. February is the last month of winter, right? So you're wintering in December and it's warm and it's getting dark, and it gets the darkest, and then it's the ultra coldest in January, and then it's also cold in February, but it's brighter, right? And these are kind of like the three natures of winter. That you can span across 3 months. So that there's a decent manner of subdivision of the season that you can kind of feel, which is why the lunar-based calendar is such an appealing idea, right? So, I've been taking care of my personal needs a great deal in this little bit of time. I want to encourage people to check things out. Here on my channel, I am going through the 9 Doors of Midgard by Edred Thorson right now. This is an easy read compared to some of the other reading that I've done, and it's less wild than the documentary work covering the Box saga that I have covered, and that I actually may be going back to because I may have found some Box saga stuff. Moogle Yit. How's it going, Moogle Yit? That's a strange name. So, my time, has been spent a great deal with a lot of certain integrations of things, integrations of my knowledges, refinements of those things. And this is part and parcel of my manner of issue with such peculiarities out there, such as others that have a name. They've taken a name as a title. They've taken a title to what they are, using our modern misconstruement of its meaning, right? So I picked a fight on Twitter with Jake Angelli, the formerly known as the Q Shaman, formerly calling himself an admiral, and nobody wants to ask this guy who called himself an admiral again why he's a shaman. And and his definition of a shaman is somebody doing good in the world or some shit like that. And I'm just like, that's Christian programming right there. He prayed to Jesus. He performed a kind of Christian mysticism, right? Of a shamanic nature, which doesn't mean anything because we're talking about cultural appropriation of sorts, right? Because Christians don't really have that identity. Christians are in a they're in a particular kind of system that is based on them being severed from their roots, which is why people are very confused, not concerned, but confused about, like, who's this guy with, like, the Volk nut tattoo, but, praying to Jesus and being all Americana, even though, these things don't have anything to do with anything, right? And part of the simple answer to that is that he's just doing what he wants. He's doing what he wants because it's the age of Aquarius. And doing all those shamanic things doesn't make you a shaman any more than any of the things Johnny Depp did to portray a fucking Native American makes him a Native American. It's character acting. It's method. It's method acting. And so I do the same fucking things Jake does. Ain't nothing wrong with what Jake's doing. But there is something wrong with defining a shaman as something that Jake does. Right? Because a shaman is not really going to be a functional person in our realm this way, and he's involved in several different kinds of things that just are a complete distraction from the spirituality, right? And I can imagine that he needs to make something of the mistake that he made in what he thought was going to happen when he turned himself in. I mean, kudos to him. That was in full honor that he turns himself in. It's also demonstration of naivete, right? As this alleged admiral, well before, his messiah left office, didn't fucking save him. So you have an unsaved, so, like, all he does is he drops the admiral, and he drops the Q, and he simply explains why he's no longer the Q guy, because he has to own that. But he doesn't have to explain himself about being an admiral, because that was only something he bragged about, oddly, on his, like, first incarnation Rumble channel, right? There's a whole other matter going on in this respect entirely, right? And so, it's just like, if you weren't giving him the benefit of the doubt that he was under some sort of mind control, calling yourself an admiral like that is called stolen valor. That's basically stolen valor. I mean, he wasn't taking benefits or whatever, but that's in the pocket of stolen valor kind of shit, right? Which is only done by spies and charlatans. And I'm willing to believe that he's a patsy but I'm also willing to believe that he's a narcissist. Because a lot of them are, right? It's just like, I don't believe in victim consciousness, but I also don't believe in arrogance. And if he's not a narcissist, then he's certainly arrogant. And you know, there's nothing wrong with having a verbose personality. I endorse it. I'm not even saying that a shaman can't have a verbose personality. But at the end of the day, a shaman went through particular rites to have a particular talent that had a particular effect on their whole of their being. And I'm not saying he didn't go through rites and that he doesn't have something going on in the whole of his being, because I do too. I'm just saying you can't call it a shaman. But you're exploiting what a certain demographic of Americans think a shaman is, for the sake of having a relevant platform. And that's what he's looking for. He needs that title because it's the merit that drives traffic. Oh, what does this patriotic, conspiracy-minded shaman have to say today? As opposed to, what's this gifted, patriotic conspiracy guy who's an activist have to say, right? You know, it's just like, it doesn't hold as much weight. It doesn't sound as special, right? But a shaman is special. You can't just go to school and be it. And there's a bunch of things that has to go on, right? I'm just happy with whatever I am. I don't need to be called anything I'm not. And I'd rather not be a success if that's what it takes. Which is more shamanic in the first place. But I actually am trying to make a buck because I'd like to sell my divination readings, which is a solid and honest way to fucking make a buck. But anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm going to go meet up with my buddy. Catch you later.